What's going on? A to Z Sports. We are live for Titans at 2 here on a Tuesday. Had to switch things up. Typically, we are live on Monday afternoons and Thursday afternoons, but had to switch it up and go live on a Tuesday because the travel plans back from London for the Titans delayed their press conference to go a little bit later in the afternoon. So if I would have gone live at 2 yesterday, we would not have had comments from Mike Vrabel and some more clarity and some comments from Titans assistant coaches as well about some of the different things going on with this team. It's not good in Titans world right now. Some frustrations about the direction of the organization, the 2-4 start to the season, rightfully so. And now, of course, some questions about the injury status of the Titans starting quarterback, Ryan Tannehill. So we have a lot of things to discuss today, including Ryan Tannehill's status and the update from the head coach, including how Malik Willis played, in my opinion, in his fourth quarter in there with the Titans starters against Baltimore. And then what I believe is the easiest solution for this Titans offense moving forward after the bye week, and why I feel like what I think they need to do in order to get back in the right direction. So Darren says it's terrible. He just wants direction. And yeah, Kenneth says, I was thinking you went live at 2 on Mondays. Yeah, typically not this week. A little bit of different things with the bye week going on. But appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out. Before we get started here, I want to let everybody know that today's Titans at 2 show is powered by Dobert out in Green Hills, Dobert Pizza and Rotisserie. That's where you're sure to find flavor. Dobert brings you a crave-worthy menu with an unexpected and perfect flavor duo of pizza and rotisserie. Offbeat flavor combos made even more delicious when you dunk pizza and rotisserie into one of the house-made sauces. They're located out in Green Hills. Dobert has everything. I took my parents to Dobert, who were in town this past weekend. So while the Titans were in London, I was at Dobert with my parents, and it was a top tier, top notch as always. So go visit Dobert. They're powering today's edition of Titans at 2. Let's get into what Mike Vrabel had to say at his Titans press conference yesterday. A different press conference, like I mentioned, that started off with an update about Ryan Tannehill's ankle.
Had the MRI exam on Ryan. How's things looking with his ankle?
Similar to where they were last year, and so we'll see how it goes. We've got some time here for our next game, and Ryan will get treat round the clock, and this will be a big week to see how he progresses, and then we'll make a decision on his availability next week and what we do then.
If he's not available, is it maybe time to take a look at Will?
It'll be one of those two guys if Ryan can't go. I don't know who that would be yet. We'll see, how they continue to practice. It'll be good to get them some work this week, maybe with some guys that they haven't necessarily worked with. They've been working on the show team during the season. So I'm excited to get both those guys some reps with some of our offensive guys and see how they handle that.
So no decision yet from Mike Vrabel and the Titans coaching staff on who the starting quarterback would be if Ryan Tannehill is unable to go after the bye week in that game against the Atlanta Falcons at Nissan Stadium. But Vrabel did say, this will be a big week for seeing how he progresses, which kind of sounded at the time like a more positive update on Ryan Tannehill's ankle, like post-MRI, if you're still believing, hey, there's some, interest in seeing how he progresses this week. That usually means good stuff came from that MRI. And then we got this update from Jeremy Fowler, ESPN, who said Ryan Tannehill suffered a high ankle sprain in his right ankle. Not a huge surprise there, considering the diagnosis was that it was similar to the last injury that he had the last time, last season when he dealt with his ankle problems. And then Jeff Darlington says, unlike last year, when Titans quarterback Ryan Tannehill suffered a similar ankle injury, I'm told Tannehill will not require surgery this time. He's currently in a cast diagnosed with the high ankle sprain. So Austin Stanley and I actually just got done this afternoon. We taped an edition of Doc Talk with the Bone and Joint Institute to discuss Ryan Tannehill's ankle and what exactly this high ankle sprain means for Tannehill moving forward, why he doesn't need another surgery. That was all very fascinating, and that will be coming out tomorrow for you guys to really take in all of that expert knowledge and know why this is kind of the best case scenario for Ryan Tannehill and for the Titans as far as getting him back on the field. The takeaway that I had, this is going to be a quicker recovery than Ryan Tannehill had to his ankle last season because of the severity, because he's already had a surgery to that ankle, and the risk of re-injury is slim to none. So there you go. That's the diagnosis from the folks at the Bone and Joint Institute. More details on that coming tomorrow. But this is a very positive update for Titans fans, and yet we still are not entirely sure if Ryan Tannehill is going to be able to go against the Atlanta Falcons. And you heard that follow-up question from Teresa Walker. And so Eric says, but one more hit on it. So it's not a matter of like one more hit on it could put him out for the season. One more hit on it could make the ankle worse, which this surprised me when we talked to the Bone and Joint Institute. It's a matter of, can Ryan Tannehill play through the pain, and is he mobile enough with that pain and effective enough with that pain to get some juice on his throws and move around and not like actually be effective as a quarterback. So it's not a big re-injury thing. It's not a long-term, like, could be out for the season thing. He's already had the surgery that would have put him out for basically the season. It's a matter of pain. What can he go through? And at what point in this season is he pain-free or just limited enough in his pain that he's able to play? But we don't know who the starting quarterback would be. And you heard Mike Vrabel say, oh, well, it's going to be one of those two guys. I thought this was another interesting note for all of you Titans fans that perhaps had some idea in your head that Ryan Tannehill hurt means this is the passing of the torch. Maybe not. Mike Vrabel says even if Ryan Tannehill is healthy, he remains the guy at quarterback for the Titans.
If Ryan is healthy, is he automatically the guy, or is there any?
Yeah, Ryan. Ryan will be. If he can go, Ryan will be a quarterback.
No doubt there. If he can go, Ryan will be our quarterback. Make of that what you want about Malik Willis and Will Levis and where the Titans coaching staff is with them right now. But for now, it's very clear they are not giving up. They are not waving the white flag, and they believe Ryan Tannehill gives them the best chance to win. Who gives them the best chance to win if Ryan Tannehill is out? Well, tune into the A to Z Sports morning show to get my opinions on all of that. I thought Malik Willis was not great in his opportunity in the fourth quarter. And I've had a lot of Titans fans, by the way, coming at me or just like in my mentions pointing to Malik's stats as like a reason that he is good. They're like, oh, well, look, he had just as much production. How dim can you be when it comes to something like that? I mean, we are not looking at stats off of 50-plus yard screen pass as the reason behind Malik Willis being the answer for the Titans at quarterback. He has been sacked, I found this interesting, on 17.5% of his dropbacks in his NFL career. That is the second most in the last 50 years. An unbelievable rate for Malik Willis to be sacked. And that is not just on the Titans offensive line. There is certainly a level of you have to throw the ball. You can't run into sacks. You have to, not have such a flight response that quickly into your dropbacks that I think are relevant. And so that kind of forms my opinion on where I think the Titans need to go at quarterback. But like I said, save some of that for tomorrow's morning show with A to Z Sports as Austin Stanley and I have that debate and sort of start to break things down. See what you guys are thinking here. As Eric says, it should be Levis, and B-Bird says he won't throw the ball. Malik is scared to throw the ball. He doesn't pass the eye test yet, says Darren. A screen pass in garbage time, by the way. True, Billy. This is, if you're looking at the box score, you don't watch football or you're just not paying attention. You are so dim that we can't get through to those people. You're watching games with blinders on, looking for how you can make Malik Willis fit your narrative. If you're looking at a box score and saying, see, I told you 70-something passing yards in one quarter. That's good, right? No, it's not good when it comes on one pass in garbage time and you take 4 sacks on 15 plays. So, I will digress here and save some of that for tomorrow. But some more interesting stuff about this Titans team is the fact that 2-4 looks bad, and 2-4 feels bad, especially the way that the Titans have gotten to 2-4 with a divisional loss to the Indianapolis Colts, and potentially a poor decision to go to London late. The way that they looked against the Ravens and losing games in the same ways with just head scratching, pull your hair out mistakes, and the quarterback going down. It's all very bad. How do you come back from 2-4, and is there still hope? History would suggest that there is. I'll tell you what that history is, and hear Mike Vrabel's opinion about how he feels like the Titans still have hope. But before I do that, I want to remind everybody that Doughbird Pizza and Rotisserie is making today's Titans at 2 show happen. Grab a seat at Doughbird at the bar and stay a while, sitting on their inventive craft cocktails made fresh with daily fresh juices and homemade ingredients, alongside local beers and a menu of wines to pair with every delicious bite. Doughbird has a happy hour that goes 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. So that's getting going here in 45 minutes or so at Doughbird in Green Hills, with deals starting at $5, half-price bottles of wine all day on Tuesdays. Today's Tuesday, so half-price bottles of wine today, and a recently announced bottle and bird special that features a bottle of wine and a whole rotisserie chicken with 2 sides for $40 when you dine in. Doughbird making it happen, making today's show happen. Go check them out in Green Hills. Cannot recommend Doughbird Pizza and Rotisserie enough to all of you out there. What is this history? What is this precedent that I'm talking about with the Titans starting 2-4? How about 2019, where the 2-4 Tennessee Titans wound up in the AFC Championship game? Mike Vrabel knows a thing or two about turning a season around and maintaining his locker room. So what goes into all of that? I had a chance to ask the head coach on Monday. You've seen 2-4 before in your time here and turned it into an AFC Championship game appearance. So what do you have to do as a head coach to hold this locker room together and keep vibes high despite a challenging start?
Well, I mean, I think it starts this week. It starts tomorrow. It starts with, my message of, showing them the things that, we've done well enough, and then just showing them the things that we can't do and think that we'll win, and making sure that the standard is it's coming to work and being consistent and, demanding, the accountability is huge, but the ones that can have to do a little bit more, and the ones that haven't have to improve.
What do you think of Jeffrey's comments about just some guys need to decide if they want to play and want to be here?
I mean, Jeff's earned the right to say a lot as he wants, but I think that could go for a lot of guys. We've hit the quarterback 3 times in the last 2 games, so we'd have to, prepare there too. It's tough to win, and it's tough to cause turnovers when you hit the quarterback twice in 2 games.
Some interesting stuff there. Mike Vrabel talking about the locker room and then responding to Jeffrey Simmons' post-game comments. I'll kind of circle back on Jeff's comments here. Want to get to your comments because Billy says in 2019, we benched a QB who had similar stats to Tannehill. Now, that was the turning point, and no debating that in Marcus Mariota being benched when he was, and Ryan Tannehill they looked like a different team once Ryan Tannehill took over that year. Amar says that was a way different team, Sam, way better than this team. It's not the 2019 team. And Andre kind of in that same boat says, I knew you were going to say 2019. They had a better O-line, AJ, CD, Younger, Henry, Mobile, Tannehill. Yeah, look, I'm not saying that the 2023 Titans are the 2019 Titans, or even that they hold a candle to them in the way that they play football or what their ceiling as a unit can be. But I do find this 2-4 hole the Titans are in to be very interesting, because it's a challenge. Mike Vrabel, I worded this the other day on A to Z Sports Primetime, filling in for Buck Rising, as what I feel like is going to be the most challenging thing Mike Vrabel has ever had to go through as the Titans head coach. The big challenge for him, and that is holding together this locker room through a very slow start, through a bye week, through a reassessment of the roster with a trade deadline looming, and big personalities and big names like DeAndre Hopkins, Jeffrey Simmons, Derrick Henry, etc. on your football team, let alone an injured quarterback with a fan base calling for his seat and 2 guys that you've invested draft capital in sitting behind him and knowing when to make that move. There is a lot of variables at play here for the Titans. And so I find this very interesting how Mike Vrabel is going to handle his locker room. You can't lose the locker room. That is step one of being able to turn your season around. And so I have to look at what Mike Vrabel has done in the past, with 2019 being the precedent for a 2-4 Titans team that was able to get, kind of to where the goal was, which is the playoffs and a playoff run. Can the Titans do that in 2023? I certainly have my doubts, as I'm sure you guys do as well, and as you should. But this locker room aspect of it, I think, certainly applicable as well. Now let's get into what he said about Jeffrey Simmons and Jeffrey Simmons' comments. And if you missed those, Jeff Simmons said after the game, well, we have to reassess our team. We have to figure out who really wants to be out here, who doesn't want to be out here, and move forward like that. And there seemed to be a sense of frustration and tension with this Titans team after the game that hasn't existed in this locker room really since maybe the losing streak last year. There was a weird sense during that losing streak last year of like boiling frustration. There was also an understanding of, hey, we don't have our starting quarterback and don't have our starting left tackle and we're banged up and it sucks, but that's what it is. You come out and you do the same thing and have some of these slow starts and go 2-11 in your last 13 regular season games. And Amar's point might have something to it, that he's losing the locker room and Vrabel's message may or may not be getting stale. Jeff Simmons says that. Mike Vrabel says, all right, well, you're entitled to your opinion, and Jeff can say whatever he wants to say. He's earned that right, and I would certainly agree with that. But I think this all kind of plays into each other. I think there are some dots that we might be able to connect here because if you guys missed this on A to Z Sports Primetime, again, I talked about this situation with Tierre Tartt, who tweeted after the game, who's really mad here, with laughing emojis, and liked a tweet that said, nice subtweet, which I just thought was interesting. Interesting is about all you can say about that. That coming after Tierre missed 2 straight games. Defensive line coach Terrell Williams has basically refused to talk about Tierre Tartt. He says, I don't want to talk about that. I don't know what's going on. I talked to Terrell Williams again yesterday and said, Terrell, it's been a week. Have you heard anything about Tierre? Do you have any sort of information about his situation? He goes, No. I don't know nothing about that. I don't know anything about that. Titans aren't commenting on it. I asked Mike Vrabel again, hey, are you frustrated with the fact that Tierre Tartt's not out there? And he gave a very interesting response. Video was a little bit too long to play here for you guys. But Mike Vrabel said, I'm frustrated by the fact that we're losing. He said he hadn't seen Tierre's social media post, but said there is some frustration with knowing that guys are doing everything they can to get back on the field. Mind you, Tierre Tartt is listed with a toe injury on the Titans injury report. And so I personally start to potentially connect some dots between Tierre's back-to-back absences with a toe injury. Mike Vrabel had said earlier in the week, well, I would certainly hope he'd be out there against the Ravens just for him not to practice all week and not play. Tierre's tweets, Mike Vrabel's comments about, hey, let's make sure we're doing all we can to get back out there. And even Big Jeff's comments about who really wants to be out here. There could be some stuff, related there and some dots that we could connect. So see how that plays out 2 weeks from now. See how that plays out in the impending days and weeks as the Titans try and right this ship and do what Jeffrey Simmons called them to do, which is reevaluate their team and their roster and who really wants to be out here. Moving on, last thing I got for you guys today is going to be what I think offensively is the easy solution for the Titans offense that's right in front of their face. And the numbers do not lie. It's fascinating stuff. I'll tell you what it is before I do that. Going to remind everybody about Doughbird. Doughbird is the partners that are powering today's show. They're making it happen. I mentioned how they have the happy hour and the bird and bottle special for $40 when you dine in. But if takeout is more your style, you can grab the family on the fly takeout bundle to feed your family. Doughbird is the go-to spot for to-go food in the neighborhood, located in Green Hills. Doughbird Pizza and Rotisserie. That's where you're sure to find flavor. And if you go out to Green Hills to park there and you do want to go in, it's got easy parking, free parking that, I've never had an issue with all my times going over to Dobert over the last few months, never had an issue getting in or out at all times throughout the day. So certainly not something that you can find at every place in Nashville. Easy, convenient parking in Green Hills and at Dobert as well. So here is what I believe to be the easy solution for the Titans. I'm seeing if maybe the chat has some sort of idea. Darren says it's Spears. Scary Harry agrees. It has to be Spears. It is not Tajay Spears. It is actually quite the opposite. Here is Ryan Tannehill's stats when Derrick Henry is on or off the field. And as you see, a substantially better numbers for Ryan Tannehill in completion percentage, yards per attempt, touchdowns, less interceptions, a better passer rating, less pressure on the quarterback, and just 3 sacks with Derrick Henry on the field. 16 sacks of Ryan Tannehill with Derrick Henry off the field. Maybe you want to know why? Because when you put Tajay out there, you take Derrick off, teams are saying, all right, well, let's see, they're probably going to pass the ball. They're probably going to pass the ball, and they're probably not going to run play action because they don't do a ton of play action with Tajay Spears. They pin their ears back. They go get after the QB. They cause a lot of problems. It is relevant that, if you're in a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, 3rd and long scenario, Derrick probably not going to be out there because Tajay's the better pass catcher and better pass protector. So that could lead to some of these, sacks and, incompletions is you're on 3rd and long. It's a little bit more difficult. But if this tells me anything, this tells me what we already kind of knew, that Derrick Henry matters, that the Titans are better out of play action, that when you can run a passing set out of play action, when opposing defenses have to look at number 22, have to have him in mind, have to think maybe this is a run, maybe this is a pass, and you keep them honest, that your quarterback is actually pretty good, that your pass protection is actually pretty good, and that you're more efficient. It is what we've seen the Titans do on all of their good offensive drives so far this year. And it all starts with Derrick Henry, who, by the way, for all the national talk, I believe, about Henry and, is he the same guy, is averaging this basically the same yards per carry that he has in each of the last 2 seasons. So no reason why Derrick Henry is not still Derrick Henry. I mean, he's not 2,000-yard Derrick Henry, but he can still be a high-volume, productive runner that sets up a very good passing game. And Kevin says, yeah, so keep our best offensive player on the field is the answer. Andre thinks it's an indictment on the coaching staff, says, imagine that. And Darren, we need to stop giving away plays based off of our personnel. I would agree with all of you guys that the numbers here don't lie. And I like Tajay Spears, and I like what Tajay has been for the Titans. His yards per carry is very good. We saw on that screen pass Malik Willis had to him what he can do with some good blocking in front of him. And there's a role for him here. But getting away from Derrick Henry, even being on the field, is hurting the Titans. I would like to see more Derrick Henry and Tajay out there together. That creates some misdirection that I think can be really productive. Tajay's 1 touchdown run that he had was a ball to Derrick Henry where they used him as misdirection, gave it to Tajay, cleared out the right side of the field for him to run and get into the end zone. We saw Derrick take a direct snap and fake a pitch against Baltimore that got the defense looking into the backfield while Derrick Henry was running down the sideline for a 60-plus yard run. So keep doing this play action, but for the love of God, keep Derrick Henry on the football field. The answer right in front of their face. And does this solve all of their problems? No, but it shows you what they're best at. And if the Titans are taking Derrick Henry off the field, it becomes very easy for an opposing defense to look and say, well, you're probably either running outside zone and you're going off tackle so that you can get Tajay Spears to the perimeter where he can make a man miss, or you're going to pass the ball. You're probably not running play action. You're probably not running the ball between the tackles. But if you're doing either one of those things, defenses are not afraid to bring some pressure, bring some heat, pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. And as we know about this offensive line, and Mike Vrabel has said, you don't want to get into a drop back passing game. You don't want to take a 3-step drop and have to do drop back passing. You want to find ways to maneuver the pocket, run some play action, quick passes. That is what the Titans are best at. So there is the answer for the Titans offense, in my opinion, that's right in front of their face. And I'm curious to, after seeing that stat, shout out to Tony Holzman Escareno from Front Office NFL on Twitter for coming up with that from Next Gen Stats today. Very, very insightful, and I think will lead to some interesting questions next time there's media availability for Tim Kelly and for Mike Vrabel. So before we wrap up, Kenneth wants to know any word on Burks' recovery. Yes, Mike Vrabel expects Treylon Burks to practice some this week and is hopeful that he will be back for that Falcons game. It was the most optimistic Vrabel has been on Treylon Burks. This was kind of what I had always been told about Burks' knee injury, was that Atlanta was when they expected him back. But because you had the bye week, he only had to miss 3 games. They chose not to use an IR spot on him. So yes, Burks back against Atlanta right now is the expectation. But that's all I've got for you guys. Once again, want to give some love to Doughbird. Seriously, can't say enough. Go check out Doughbird. It's great food, great pizza, and a pizza and rotisserie combo that you can't find anywhere else, with free parking that's convenient, located in Green Hills. They've got something for everybody, whether it's a date night or, for the whole family. If you're taking a family dinner, if you just want to go to the bar and watch a football game, whatever it is, go check out Doughbird. Can't recommend them enough. Every Titans at 2, Monday and Thursday. We will be off this Thursday. So for those of you tuning in right now, we're off this Thursday for Titans at 2. Because of the bye week, we don't have a press conference later in the week. So we do not have that to kind of recap. But I will be back next Monday with another Titans at 2 as we get ready to preview Titans and Falcons and figure out who's going to be the starting quarterback for this team when they next take the field at Nissan Stadium. Make sure you tune into tomorrow's A to Z Sports Morning Show. Again, we're having the Willis versus Levis debate tomorrow morning. Me and Austin Stanley on the A to Z Sports Morning Show. Do not miss that one. And don't miss Buck Rising on A to Z Sports primetime throughout this week. And all of the coverage, article coverage with more written content on A2ZSports.com. I'm recapping a lot of those details about when the Titans take Derrick Henry off the field, how much it hurts them. I'm going to have to do a lot of research on that throughout this week. And then again, like I said earlier, the doc talk about Ryan Tannehill's ankle is coming out tomorrow as well. It's great stuff from the Bone and Joint Institute. So make sure you check that out. That's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for hanging out. Till next week, Sam Phelan for A to Z Sports. I'll talk to you guys later.